Assalamu alaikum and hi everyone. My name is Yasmin. I'm a student from the Islamic Science University of Malaysia. So today, I'm going to present my paper about the plants mentioned in the Quran that are related to the parables, history, and bounties from Allah. So, let's begin with the introduction. Manani Attal stated that previous literature acknowledged that the Quran emphasizes environmental education through the preservation and conservation of nature. So that is why you can find that plants is one of the main elements in the Quran. On top of that, the study of plants of the Holy Book also attracted the attention of non-Muslim researchers. According to Muslims, the biblical plants are quite much rather than the plants mentioned in the Quran, by a total of about 80 kinds of them. He also affirmed that this is not including a certain part of the plants. There are some similar plants found in both the Quran and the Bible, such as cucumber, date palm, fig, garlic, ginger, and so on. Moreover, Salah asserts that the use of plants as parables in the Quran is a way for Allah to advise His servants. As a result, this study is an attempt to open the minds of readers and scholars to a openly new dimension concerning plants from the perspective of the Quran. Next, the objectives. The purposes of this study are to identify the plant terms in the Quran and analyze the themes related to the Quranic plants, as well as to understand the interpretation of the plant terms in the Quran. Methodology. This study approached the quantitative research design by applying the document analysis method. Al-Quran was taken as the primary source. The verses that mention the plant-related terms were collected, and then 3 plant themes were created, which are plants mentioned as parables in the Quran, plants associated with the stories of prophets and the past events, and plants associated with the bounties of Allah. Subsequently, the selected verses from each theme were analysed based on the interpretations of Tafsir al-Azhar by Hamka and Tafsir al-Misbah by Quraish Shihab. Results and discussion. The first part is about the plants mentioned as parables in the Quran. Spend the wealth in the way of Allah. From verse 261 from Surah Al-Baqarah, Hamka illustrated that Allah multiplies the rewards of goodness by giving examples of the species of the coconut tree, palm tree, and paddy. He emphasized that sacrificing wealth to uphold the path of Allah would not be damaging, but instead it is profitable. On the other hand, Quraish Shihab described that a fruitful tree comes from a growing seed in the soil. If the soil created by Allah could provide that much, then people do not need to hesitate to plant their wealth in the hands of Allah. So, their confidence in the land should not exceed their confidence in the Creator of the land. The resurrection of the dead from the grave. From verse 57 of Surah Al-A'raf, Hamka described al-Thamarat, the Arabic word for fruit, as vegetation. Dry seeds and grains only grow when there is water, and even the arid land would be covered with grass. He illustrated the plant life of the 4 seasons weather, dry season, and wet season. There are also few parts of the world where no plants could live on, so we can see that, despite everything, humans could irrigate the dead land with the development of technology. Thus, if mankind observes what happens between plants and water, raising the dead is easy for Allah, and all mankind should believe in the Judgment Day. Meanwhile, Quraish Shihab explained that when Allah revives the dead land with rain, the land becomes a place for plants to grow and bear fruit. This means that Allah could change anything from a state of non-existence to existence, like how Allah brings the dead to life when the time comes. The second topic is about the plants associated with history, like the stories of the prophets and the past events. The story of Prophet Yunus. From verse 146 of Surah As-Saffat, The god is related to the story of Prophet Yunus being thrown ashore from the belly of a whale. Hamka stated that the god is highly nutritious, which offers a cooling effect on the body. It might have been planted by Allah before Prophet Yunus was thrown there, even though it was on the barren shore. When the god has ripened, its flesh could be eaten like porridge. Therefore, the weak body of the prophet would gradually recover by eating it. Similarly, Quraish Shihab believed that Prophet Yunus gained physical safety and spiritual stability through the plant. He used the leaves for shelter from bad weather and eat the fruit. So, the presence of this plant is illustrated by verse 49 of Surah Al-Qalam as a favor that made Prophet Yunus non-blameworthy. Next, the story of the Pharaoh. Based on the verse 71 of Surah Taha, Hamka interpreted that the Pharaoh punished his magicians who believed in Prophet Moses by cutting off their hands and feet on opposite sides, and then crucifying them on the trunks of fig palm. They were tied up or nailed on the trunks before the crucifixion. According to Quraish Shihab, the Pharaoh wanted to make the trunk of fig palm trees as the instrument to crucify his magicians who believed in Allah by tying up their hands and feet, because he believed it was the most painful torment for those who dared to betray him. The last topic is about the plants associated with the bounties from Allah. Firstly, it's about the ginger from verse 17 of Surah Al-Insan. A drink mixed with ginger is one of the special drinks in paradise. Hamka revealed that from the ancient times, the Arabs liked to take the ginger mixture drink and consume it as a hot drink, especially in winter. From Quraysh perspective, the drink served in heaven that is mixed with ginger is not similar to the ginger known in this world. The ginger comes from a spring there named salsabil. It's also understood that the characteristic of the spring itself is the salsabil. Secondly, pomegranate. From verse 68 of Surah Al-Rahman, Hamka stated that it is surely the sweetness of the pomegranate in heaven is much better than the sweetness faced in this world, as Allah has promised in verse 25 of Surah Al-Baqarah, that the fruit of heaven and fruit in this world is the same, but everything in heaven is much better and tastier. As for Quraish Shihab, he referred to the scientific fact from Tafsir al-Muntakhab, which the pomegranates are extremely nutritious for the human body because they offer a high content of citric acid and natural sugar. Pomegranate peel protected the stomach from diarrhea and could be used to eradicate tapeworms. So here we notice that Hamka compared the qualities of the pomegranate and other fruits in heaven and on the earth, while Quraish Shihab explained the scientific facts of pomegranate based on the Tafsir al-Muntakhab. As for the conclusion, Allah has used the natural elements in the Quran, like plants, to convey His commands and prohibitions to mankind. There are many spiritual values, life lessons, and knowledge behind the creation of plants. The mentioning of plants in the Quran is to call for mankind to know Allah, worship Him as the only God, and glorify the greatness of Him. He does not create something pointlessly because He is the wisest. That's all from me. Thank you.